Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 4 of the banjolele build project. Okay, so in the previous episode, part 3, I was gluing the binding on the neck and around the body of the one that I hadn't done. So that's all done now. And I just want to show you what it looks like. I've done both of the necks. Okay, focusing. So binding on both sides. I think it looks rather good. I think you know, there are many different colours and styles of binding that you can get. I think this works nicely with this. Particularly with this one actually, which has got a darker fretboard. You can see the wood is darker on this one. I think it looks really nice against that dark wood. This is the original body that I've done first, with the binding all the way around the top. And the other one is just there on my workbench. Oh, charger. Yeah, just there on my workbench. I've done that one as well, and at the moment I've got the kerfing gluing in there because, as I said, I'm going to put a back on that one because it's not as deep as this one. It's quite shallow. So I've got a piece of wood ready for the back. Now I'm not doing it solid like this. It's not going to be a closed back. I'm actually going to cut a ring from this and put on the back of that one. So it's not going to be a full closed back, it's just going to be a ring around the outside. So I'm going to cut a ring out of this quite nice piece of wood. It's a shame really, because you know, the whole thing is really nice. Actually, that's the better side. I really like that. But I'm just going to be cutting an outer ring to go on the back of that one. I was originally going to cut kind of a, you know, a cross shape, so like a cross here and there, with kind of curves at either side and in the middle. But A, I don't need all that, and B, it's a lot of work. A lot of work I don't need to do. So, you know, I put the kerfing in that one, and I'm going to be cutting a ring from this to put on the back of that. So that will add to the depth of the body and also give quite a bit of strength. I mean, a surprising amount of strength with the kerfing, and then the ring from this glued on that as well. It's going to give it quite a lot of strength. But this one I'm actually leaving open, and you know, I want to leave access to the inside of these. I'm pretty sure this is going to be more than strong enough for a ukulele as opposed to a banjo, which has got a lot more tension. This should be more than strong enough. If it's not, and I do find it, you know, it does start to bow a bit when I put the strings on. Highly unlikely, but if it does, then I'll put a ring on this one as well. And that would just eradicate that problem completely. Okay, so all of the binding is on, and I've removed all of the excess glue that sort of splurged out along the edges and this edge as well. Scraped all the glue off, and I've sanded the neck so that the you know, where the binding actually meets the body, it's all smooth and you know, meets nicely. I've done both of them, and actually this is the one that I'd already painted brown, and as you can see, I've sanded all of the paint off, because where I was, you know, sanding this edge and along this edge where I've got that extension on there, obviously I've rubbed a lot of the paint off. So I just decided to take it all off and you know, redo it all again. And this one, I had already done the headstock and it wasn't very good, so I rubbed that off, and I'll be repainting all of that later, but not yet. So all of the binding is on, and I've sanded and shaped the neck up to the binding, and where I've got this, you know, extension on both of the necks, so it's all nice and smooth and uniform. Not final sanded yet, there's no point doing that yet. I'm at quite a good stage now. Not not that it's relevant right now, but you can see on this body, I put the neck on and marked where the neck is. That's for something I'll be doing later. So we'll talk about that now. So what I want to do now is dry fit the neck, and so which one am I going to go with? Okay, so obviously this is the one I have to hand. Oops. So I'm going to dry fit the neck and temporarily fit a couple of tuners because I've now got the tail pieces for these banjos to attach the strings. So this is quite interesting actually. What I did is I ordered a couple of these. What is that, you ask? Very good question. So this is actually a electric bass guitar tailpiece. So, you know, this part screws onto the bottom of the body, and then the strings go through this contraption here, and then over the bridge. So some basses are built, you know, like this. They have this special bracket. It's called a trapeze tailpiece. This style, and you know, it's fit for a certain style of bass guitar, and some other guitars have these as well. Now, the reason I got these is basically for this piece on the end, because that is a perfect tailpiece for these banjoleles. So you see, you've got the 3 screw holes which will screw onto the end of the body like that. And then you've got this piece that goes over here to protect the strings and the body from any damage. And then I can attach the strings to this piece here. So I'm actually sacrificing these. I mean, these were really, really cheap. These worked out about £3 or £4 each. So they're very, very cheap. But nice, you know, chrome and everything. So what I need to do is remove this part from here. Now, the way I tried it before was to, I don't know if you can see that, there's a gap here where it kind of rolls over. And I tried to open that up to pull this out, but you know, you end up scratching this part. So what I decided to do this time was to, you know, cut here with a hacksaw, this bar here, bend this bit out, and then pull this out through there. So that's what I'm using for these tailpieces. And to save time, here's one I prepared earlier. So I've already cut the main bracket out of it, and I had to drill holes in the end. Can you see those? So it's 4 holes for the strings. And, you know, I had to space them out properly and drill them in the right position and drill them big enough. But then once I drilled, because I drilled through this way, and then once I finished that, I had to get a thin file to put in the end of there to file off the back of the hole to remove any burrs and everything, so that it doesn't, you know, cut the strings and break them. And I've already got a couple of strings mounted in there, ready. So, like I said, I just removed that main bracket out of here, drill 4 holes in the end of this part for the strings to go through. So that pretty much looks like that. Okay, so they make a really, really nice tailpiece. And the other thing is they've already got the curve in this part for the, you know, the curve of the body. It's not exact, it doesn't match exactly, but once I screw that down, that's going to be absolutely perfect. So enough waffling. First of all, I'm going to just attach the neck with my 2 screws. Okay, so we'll do that part first. Talking about the tuners as well, I have got dozens and dozens of sets of tuners, brand new sets of tuners in a box over there. Dozens of them. I've got guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, classical guitar, ukulele, banjo, violin, viola. I've got literally dozens and dozens of sets of tuners. And I thought I had at least half a dozen sets of ukulele tuners. Well, when I was searching through the box yesterday to find them, I found 2 sets. I have 2 sets left, which is exactly what I need. But you know, I was surprised because I didn't realise I'd used up all of my stash of ukulele tuners. But luckily, as it turns out, I've got exactly enough to do these 2 banjoleles, which is excellent. Okay, so I don't need to do it up really tight. Actually, I do. Not really, really tight, just really tight. Okay, so that's the neck attached, and the tuners. Well, I've got this set of standard ukulele tuners in chrome, but the other set I've got right here, yeah. So they're these style of tuners, the open back ones, and these have 2 screw mountings, whereas these ones have 1 screw mounting, but also a nut that fits on the front. Now, so these are a different style, and you know they've got the white plastic buttons on there, but there you go, such is life. I don't particularly like those, but they're all right. I mean, these work quite well. So this will be for the other one. So there's a need to do a little bit of work to make these fit, but I'll show that obviously at a later stage. So these chrome ones are for this one. So for now, I just need 2 of them, and I need opposite sides. Okay, so right. So I'll temporarily fit the bottom 2 tuners in the bottom holes because they are for the outside 2 strings, which is the strings that I have mounted in this end plate. I've got the 2 outer strings. Okay, so go that side and that goes the other side. Okay, just press that in. So it's a nice tight fit or snug fit, so they don't, you know, move about. 10mm spanner. There's my 10mm spanner. So it doesn't matter at all at this stage if they're straight or not. Just want them to be, you know, usable. So they're not going to move. Yeah, nice snug fit. I like that. That's perfect. Actually, it was a little bit too tight. I had to just slightly open the holes up to make them fit a little bit better. Still snug, but not too tight. Okay, right, so that's 2 of the tuners in temporarily. As I said, it doesn't matter at this stage whether they're straight or not. So I'm not going to screw the tailpiece on at the moment. I'm just going to hold it on with a clamp. I'm just going to clamp it on for now, so that I can, you know, just run the strings up. And the reason I'm doing this, I should have explained, is I want to check alignment. Okay, so when I've got the strings in the tuners, I want to check alignment for this tailpiece, one side or the other. I know more or less where it's got to go, and it should be just right, to be honest. So let me just clamp this tailpiece on. Oh, only just reaches. Okay, so let me just check the position of that. I think I need to slide it across a little bit. Too much. There. Right, so that's going to just hold that tailpiece on for now. So, yeah. Quite awkward. Let me think. I'm going to do that. What I need is my neck block. Hold that end up. Well, that worked well. Actually, let me put a different clamp on there. It's not quite deep enough. So I'll put one of these on because they're deeper, and that'll hold that bracket on better. Okay. string out of the way. Yeah, that's better. Actually, I wonder if it'd be better just to do it the other way around, and I can keep that out of my way. Right, let's just check that. Slide around a bit. You see what I'm doing? Sort of, kind of. Oh, another job where you need two pairs of hands, really. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's actually going to be a bit awkward with this clamp, but I'll do my best. Okay, so that's more or less lined up. I am going to need to move that. Actually, let me just do it now quickly. Yeah, not going as well as planned. Oh, this is such a faff. Of course, when I did this off camera the other day, it worked fine. Oh dear. And this is why I used the other clamp. Actually, I remember now, I did it on the other body, which is shallower. So it was a bit easier. Right. Still got to move it. Right, I'm going to call that good enough for now. I'm bored of faffing about. Okay, right. It says. So now that that clamp's in place, what's up that? Right, that's sort of kind of got it. Okay, so temporarily put the strings in the tuners now. Sorry about that fucking well. I'm running out of time as well, so let's speed this up. Right, I'm going to need the bridge and the nut as well to mop things up. So bridge, and then the nut. That'll do. Right, so just slot the nut in there. Slot the bridge in there. Okay, put the other string in. Okay, so that's kind of set up, ready to check things. Now, you may remember that I put some extensions on these necks. So now I can explain why. So when you check intonation on any instrument, any stringed instrument, the general rule of thumb is the distance from the inside of the nut to the 12th fret should be the exact same distance as the 12th fret to the bridge, or saddle rather. So the 12th fret is exactly the midway point between the inside of the nut and the saddle. So it has to be that distance. And as you can see, it's already quite close to that tailpiece. I'm probably going to have to move that back. So this is why I needed that neck extended, because if I didn't, then that whole scale would come down and the bridge would end up right up, you know, here, which is no good. So that's why I had to extend the necks, so that I had enough room for the scale for where the bridge stops before the tailpiece. So, as far as alignment goes, that's not too bad. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the bridge in the middle of the body, side to side, and so it kind of, not sure how well you'll see it, lines up, the middle of the bridge lines up with that line there, and I think you can see the spacing on the strings is pretty good, both sides. You know, the spacing from the edge of the fretboard. So that seems to be just right. Now, what I'm going to do quickly, very quickly, because I'm running out of time, is just tune these strings up, not to full pitch. I'm going to tune them to, I don't know, a C. So I set my my tuner to ukulele, and I'll just tune these strings up to a C for now. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to check the intonation to see where this bridge needs to be for correct intonation. So it doesn't have to be perfectly tuned, just as long as it matches on the intonation. So now fret at the 12th, and also I am going to have to lower the nut and lower the bridge. The action is way too high, so this intonation check is not going to be that accurate at the moment. So that's way too sharp, which means it's too short. So more towards that tailpiece. So now you can see how critical it was to lengthen that neck. I would have run out of space, 100%. Still very sharp. But like I said, the action is really high, and you know, I'll need to lower the nut and the bridge. That's pretty close. That's almost spot on there. But you can see the bridge is very close to that tailpiece, and as such, we've got a, you know, very strong angle on, you know, from the bracket to, or the tailpiece to the bridge. Now, there's two ways I can you know, eradicate that problem. I could either bend this bracket up so there's less sharp of an angle, or I can put a spacer between the tailpiece and the body to bring the thing further back, and that's probably what I will do. Okay, so you know, you get the idea. Now you know why I needed to extend the neck to give me the length for the intonation, and it's still very close, so I'm going to have to address that. But I'm not going to do that until, you know, I'm going to lower the bridge a bit, I'm going to lower the nut a bit. Actually, looking at it now, not too bad, but I will need to lower the bridge and the nut to get a little bit closer to the right action. And then I'll have a look to see if I need to put that tailpiece back. But that's going to be for another episode. So, that's it for now. You know, they're starting to come together. There's still quite a few jobs to do. Still a way to go yet, but it's coming together. So, if you're enjoying these videos, please give a like and a comment, share, subscribe, notification bell, yada yada yada, and let's see, you know, if we can get my numbers up. They're still going up, but gradual. So, in the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.